and we've had some really incredible food throughout Atlanta. Getting this list ready, I've gained 10 pounds in like 3 weeks.
I was going to ask, are you eating all the food?
Yes, we're eating out at 75 restaurants in 75 days. Pray for me. Sabrosura pa' ti que.
She had cut her finger. There was blood on her shirt, so she grabbed a sweater off the floor of her closet and threw it on. Someone handed her a napkin to hold under the finger, out of frame to catch the blood. And the shot took 4 minutes. And the beauty of it all is that is the photo on the cover of the cookbook. The book has a foreword by Gordon Ramsay. She runs the food section of the biggest newspaper in the South, and when her editor chose that picture, the dirty sweater, the 4 minutes, the bleeding hand just outside the frame, she was actually mortified. Because that's what we're trained to be. We're trained to believe the real version is the one we should be embarrassed by. That the polished one is the one that earns us the room. But today, we talk about a woman who has spent 51 years proving she belongs by outworking everybody in it. And the one image she didn't control turning out to be the one that finally looked like her. Yo soy Pam Covarrubias, and this is Café con Pam. Pull up your cafecito, and this one is for the woman who cleans up before she lets anyone in. Raise your hand if somebody calls you and they're like, I'm coming over, and you're like, oh, cleaning time. Sin más, here's my conversation with Monti Carlo. Monti, welcome to Café con Pam. I am so excited to have you and dive into your story. You have an awesome story, and I can't wait to ask you all the questions.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is really, really cool. I love the name of your show.
Thank you. Yeah, it's one of those if you know type thing. Like once people get it, they're like, oh, so good.
It's solid.
So I cannot not use it. Yeah, for sure. So I want to start with the year 1999 with the story that it's been widely shared. But as I was prepping for this, I think, well, it's been called your introduction to food in a way, because you were in the front of the house at a restaurant, and then because of an accident, you were put in the back of the house on a stool. So we've heard that story. And that what I've heard the story told by you and others is that was your introduction to food. However, I think that was a redirection because you were on your way to broadcasting school. And now what you do is you were an editor. You know, it's almost like it was a pit stop, right? And so I don't know. Tell me more about that redirection, if you agree. It's a redirection.
Oh, so you think like the restaurants was a pit stop? Is that what you're saying?
I think the move you moving into the food space was more of like a pit stop, a derail onto what you really wanted to do, because you were in broadcasting school.
Yeah, so at that time, I had already spent quite a few years working in restaurants, front of the house, probably like 10 years. So I wouldn't call it a pit stop necessarily. I'd been working in restaurants since I was 18, but never really back of the house. I mean, I'd worked at a pastry shop before, getting taught a couple things here and there. And, pastry shops, you're like there at 3:00 in the morning. So that was interesting. But I did decide in 99 that I wanted to go to radio broadcasting school. I was T-boned by a dump truck on my way to broadcasting school, I think on my third day. And I did end up in a kitchen at the steakhouse that I worked at, because they're not going to let you walk around the dining room taking orders when you're all sorts of bandaged up.
Mm-hmm.
They literally had to shave all my hair off to pick out all the glass. So that's not going to happen at the fancy steakhouse. But I did fall in love with food and the dance that happens behind the line at that steakhouse. But yeah, I started my radio career shortly thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
And my comedy career a few years after that. But radio was what I did for many years, over a decade, and I loved it. I started here in Atlanta and moved around to quite a few different states, just pursuing the craft and trying to get to the tippy top, which in radio is hosting your own morning show, which I got to do in Seattle. We hit number one in Seattle with a show called The Ladies Room in our demo, and it was fantastic. And I did radio a couple of years after that as well in Phoenix, Arizona. But yeah, radio was definitely one of my first loves.
And so when it came to food and you sitting on that stool, you were it was the first time essentially that you were put in the back of the house.
Yeah,
What did you see that made you fall in love with food?
I think more than anything, what I saw was the camaraderie. It was people back at the house don't really need to talk to each other to communicate. It's like, it is everyone is shoulder to shoulder. They're really close up. You can smell everyone. They get, it's
Mm,
we have shorthand for everything. It's an entirely new language. There is prisa, it's like in
mhm,
Spanish, like con prisa is like with momentum. You know what I mean? Like there's just you're always doing something, you're doing it as quickly as you can, and it is a little addictive if you have the kind of personality that wants to have this insanely like huge hit of dopamine for work. Like that was it for me. It was just like bright lights, big cities, so much going on. And I was only doing garde manger, which is, we handled salads and desserts. So it wasn't like I was
yes.
handling like steaks on the grill or anything like that. But the guys, I was obsessed with watching them, like it was just amazing. And the expo, the way that they would call out the food and remember everything that was happening on, 25 tickets 25 tickets deep is a lot, you know?
Yeah, no, for me, working in restaurants changed my life completely. That now when I teach business, I talk about front of the house and back of the house activities connected to what restaurants do because it's totally a parallel. If one thing's not working in the front, one thing's not going to work in the back and vice versa. It's really fascinating. And to your point, I don't think restaurant work is for everyone. You need to
No,
have this like really fast paced way of existing, but it's a lot of fun. I I
it
I
is.
liked it
It's
a
a
lot.
game of pirates. It is a bunch of odds and ends and broken toys, and
Yeah.
um, everyone gets together and they can make this incredible place sing on any given night of the week. But when you get the dance right and everything is firing off on all cylinders, it is beautiful. It is beautiful on a Saturday night to see so many people working to make one thing happen, and it's for me one of the greatest ways to spend an evening is to hang out and make sure that you're feeding an entire dining room of people through two or three turns and just making incredible work of a menu. It's a beautiful thing.
Totally. Well, especially culturalmente, no? Our cultures are very hospitable, and I feel like me going to any Latino house, I know I'm going to eat, like regardless of the time. You
And you're
know?
gonna eat it all.
Yes. And if not, you're gonna get served more.
Yeah, that's so true.
Totally. So we fast forward to the year 2000 when your mom decided to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
And then as majority of people know, running a restaurant truly I think if you decide to open a restaurant, you love food, like you have to love the art because it's like huge overhead. It's not the most profitable unless you make it a certain way. Like it's hard. Restaurant is running a restaurant is hard, especially for small businesses or people that may not have all of the funding. And so as your mom's running this restaurant, 9/11 happens.
Hmm.
And because of cultural situations, the economy just started getting bad. But then this review came. So I when I read about it, I'm like, was that like the time of like going viral in a way, like to the equivalent to that now, you know?
So it's the Atlanta Journal-Constitution is the biggest newspaper in the South, and my mother was losing her restaurant. Um, everyone was having a really hard time after September 11th, 2001. The economy tanked big time, and she had a little tiny restaurant in Roswell, Georgia, just north of Atlanta, with Caribbean food. It was really ahead of its time. Roswell at that time was like barbecue joints and breakfast joints and maybe like a couple of steakhouses. It wasn't like anything like too crazy pants. So to put a Caribbean restaurant out there was, different for the
Yeah.
community. So people weren't really going in all the time. And it's if you run a restaurant, that those end of the night when you're in the office on your Excel, on your spreadsheets, trying to figure it out. She was just not, it was not going to work. Then the AJC came in and they did a review of my mother's restaurant and they loved it. They loved the portions, which were like ginormous Latina mom portions.
Yeah.
You want a sandwich? Here's an entire loaf of bread. Like that's how we do. And they loved it. They gave her a great review. The next day, the line was out the door. She sold out of everything. She closed the doors, which you can't do. That is illegal.
Yes.
She closed doors because she didn't want any more people coming in. It was just too much. So she was able to hold on for a couple more years because of that review, which is why it's just incredible to me that now, so many years later, 15 years later, I'm the editor of
Mhm.
of that food section in that newspaper that saved my mother's restaurant. I mean, isn't life crazy?
It is a little wild, and I wonder if you think about anytime you come across a new restaurant, or I know you've been a judge, do you ever think about that moment of that person who wrote that review and how it saved your mom's restaurant for however long it lasted?
I think about that moment a lot. It's actually my guiding light with the Atlanta 50 that we're doing this year, which is our best
Mhm.
restaurant list for the Atlanta Journal Constitution. And that is my guiding light. Last year, they put out a list of incredible restaurants, but they were all restaurants that had to have a beverage program, a cocktail program,
Fancy restaurant.
fancy, and all incredible choices on that list. But it didn't leave room for places like my mother's. And so this year, now that I'm in charge of it, what I wanted to change more than anything is to open it up to places that might not have a beverage program but have an incredible menu. And it's going to be a restaurant list of the 50 best restaurants based on their menu, on their food, on their service, on the promise that they make. Because there's also this thing that happens when you have these restaurant lists that a lot of times they want to be Michelin, and so they want it to be the best of the best of the best, the most incredible white tablecloth experience,
Yeah.
that costs $600 for two people. And there's nothing wrong with that kind of dining. It's incredible dining, but it also cuts out a lot of mom and pops. And so for me, I wanted to redefine best and have it be, um, is it the best in its class?
Mm.
Is it the best food truck? Is it the best taco stop? Is it the best sandwich shop? Like, for me,
Mhm.
that is what best should be. I can't compare a food truck to a place that has a Michelin star.
Right.
It's not fair. But it's the best in its class. And for me, that opens up
Mm.
the list. And we've had some really incredible food throughout Atlanta getting this list ready. I've gained 10 pounds in like 3 weeks.
I was gonna ask, are you eating all the food?
Yeah, we're eating out at 75 restaurants in 75 days. Pray for me.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I often think about the importance of representation because you experienced this firsthand with seeing your mom's restaurant almost at the edge of falling apart, like just not working anymore, and the power of these reviews. And so now you being having a seat at the table, having this experience, it makes such a difference because you get to bring this point of view where you say, let's bring the best of the category instead of a complete list, which I don't know if it could have been seen by anyone who had an experience where you experienced.
It's crazy that I even have a seat at the table. I mean, let's keep it real. Latinas don't often get positions of power. So I'm very excited that my bosses put faith in me. One, I have a lot of people in the food scene that have thanked me for opening up the list, that feel seen. I also opened up the list by having more people dine out and judge on the list. So it used to be two people,
Mm.
but now it's 12 people. And, it's people from all sorts of income levels, all sorts of different walks of life. They're all in food. I have chefs, I have food writers, I have food critics, I have people that do pop ups. It's just important to me that if we're writing about food and we're judging food, that we really have deep experience in the category, and that we're
Mhm.
a lot of different types of people, a lot of different voices, because one person, two people, we can't speak for a city. It is too big of a city.
Totally. Yep, yep.
I am really excited about the way things have turned out for this list, and I can't wait for the list to debut. I mean, I'm going to get gout. I keep joking about it, but I know I am. I'm like, there's no way it doesn't happen.
When does the list come out?
It comes out in November. Um,
Oh, so you have time to work through it. But I'm sure it takes a lot of work.
It takes a lot of work, and we have to be finished in October, early October, in order for all of it to go through all the processes that they need to make it into a booklet and the whole nine. But my goodness, it is wonderful to get to eat my way through Atlanta and see mom and pops, to see like places that are run by chefs that have the most ridiculous talent, and then to go to places where there's a tia at the front door who's like, go sit down. you know, like, it's awesome.
And I bet the flavors are, like, all around so good.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite places that I've been to so far. The service is very. They're like, you're here, be quiet. Like,
Oh,
you're here, the food's great, we know it. Like, you know, but yeah,
solo come.
it's amazing. Like, do I need to be, there's such a thing as Eurocentric service. And so there are Eurocentric service standards where you're catered to.
Mm,
That's not always the way in Latino cultures or Asian cultures. In
yes.
Latino and Asian cultures, it's like, here's your food. It's going to be amazing. Eat it and don't fuss around too much. Like, it's like,
No hables con la boca llena.
it's the truth. So I'm not judging these places on Eurocentric standards. I'm judging them on what they are.
That's so good. And so speaking of what's on the table, you wrote Spanglish.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you were gonna write a book, by the way?
No, absolutely not. I did not think I was going to write a book. I actually just posted a photo on my Instagram 5 years ago yesterday. I had written a personal essay at the bequest of my book coach. Um, and she wanted to send it to the Washington Post, to Joe Yonan, who's no longer with the Washington Post, but who had been at the Washington Post for many, many years and was like, high up in the food world. And I was like, I don't think you should be sending my stuff to Joe Yonan. Like, I don't think so.
Mm,
She's like, we're going to send it. And 5 years ago, he accepted it and published it. And when I read the email, I flipped out. I could not believe, that someone liked my writing enough to like pay me and publish it.
yeah.
It was a really incredible life changing moment for me, because I think it was the first time that I realized, okay, I think I can do this.
Mm,
And, at that time, I was shopping a book proposal for a memoir called Spanglish that was based on my MasterChef story. And I guess maybe a month or so later. This was mid-pandemic. Do you remember Clubhouse?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
You remember like the club, like when pandemic first started, there was an app called Clubhouse. It was like a social media platform, but it was all
Yeah.
audio, and people would go in these rooms, and it was just everyone talking at the same time.
Yep.
I met my literary agent, Sally Eckes, there, and she met with me and said, "I'm going to rep you," even though I was a hot mess. And she sold my book a few months later. It was crazy.
But it wasn't the memoir.
No, she sold. Well, we thought we had sold a memoir when Schuster had a different strategy. They wanted me to write a cookbook, so I had already written most of the memoir, and we called it um, um, "Angry Little Apple Pies." Um, because when I auditioned for MasterChef, I auditioned with these little mini pies, um,
Yeah.
and they wanted a cookbook. So then I had to go into recipe development mode for a couple of years and develop, dozens and dozens and dozens of recipes for this cookbook.
Wow. And you still weave in stories though.
Yeah, so I did. It was really important to me that I not lose a memoir aspect of it. I did want to weave in some stories. So I did get to have, some essays introducing every. I had like 5 essays in the book, um, which I really love the essays, and I would love to get a lot, dig a lot deeper, but that's going to be for the memoir.
How was it for you to receive the book for the first time, to open it, to see your name on it, to, to see Spanglish on it?
I couldn't believe it was real. It feels very surreal. Have you had a baby?
I have not. I'm not gonna have kids, but I have dogs.
It's like holding your baby for the first time. It's very surreal. And so holding it, it's like I can't believe I wrote a book because
You
I worked on
created
it
this,
for
yeah.
years. Yeah, I worked on it for years, and I just couldn't believe it was reality, even though I knew it was coming. And it had been sitting on the counter for days because I didn't realize it was my book, and I don't usually open mail every day. I set it aside for like a couple of times a week. So I was like, oh my God, it's my book. It's been here. And it was crazy to see Gordon Ramsay's name on the cover. He wrote the foreword, and I saw here. I'll show you the book. I have like 800 of them in the
It's
back.
beautiful.
My favorite My favorite story about the book is the cover story because anyone that's ever worked with me knows I'm kind of a hot mess, and I have like really hardcore ADHD. So I'm all over the place.
Same.
There you go. Like that's the and when we were shooting this, we had already spent like one full day almost shooting this cover, the picture that we thought was going to be the cover, and this was just one of the recipes that we were shooting, which is my Philly cheesesteak empanada. And I was running around, and I had just cut my finger, and I had gotten blood on my shirt, so I picked up a dirty sweater off the floor in my closet and threw it on. And the food stylist daughter that was helping us ironed an apron. Like I'm literally holding a napkin underneath this finger to soak up the blood. And this shot took maybe 4 minutes. We were like, "Great,
Wow.
let's go next." And then when I saw that my editor chose this as the cover, I was mortified. I was like, only I would have a dirty sweater on the cover of my cookbook. Only me.
Nobody knows, but now they do.
Now they do. My goodness. It's a good
But
sweater
I
though.
think that's yeah, I love that story because it shows like it's very real, you know? It shows like having read about you and how you showed up to the audition with like taped up shoes because they were falling apart and you needed the $50 payday. Like how the beauty of life and creating beautiful things is in the mundane, you know? It's in the in the day to day. It's in the living the moment. And to your point, in a very ADHD way, it's like, well, what happens happened with just existing. And I think you've modeled that in so many ways throughout your story.
Thank you. I did show up to
In a
that.
very not like perfectionist type of way.
I am no Martha, but I am very much me, and this is what you get 100% of the time.
And I think that's what makes you so real, so relatable, and so like such a model for Latinas, especially because I often talk about how we are not born with a recipe book, like the blueprint. We have to literally put it together from scraps of other people, like different things that have been written. And so, like those, I often joke that a recipe book it's a junk journal looking thing. It's built with like scraps and pieces from our grandparents and from our parents and from friends and like mentors because we don't have a book. And so I think that is such a great representation of who we are and how we still make it without that blueprint. You shut up without like official food training and look at where you are, choosing the best 50 restaurants.
We got a lot of hustle. Latino culture is a hustle culture. Like you're hustling from the jump
Yes.
because we do have to work harder. We do have to be better.
Yes.
And that does make us better. It makes us like you might be more. I say this all the time. I'm never going to be the most talented person in the room ever, but I will outwork you.
Café con Pam turns 10 this year,
Nice.
and thank you. And so what I tell people is, look, I'm not the biggest podcast. I'm not. I don't have the most downloads, but I will persist. I've done this for 10 years.
Exactly. Let's go.
I will keep going because I believe in the power of our stories, and I think that's what makes us so powerful.
True that. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us now. We can't be ignored.
Mhm. That's correct. Monty, one thing that I've heard you talk about is when you got this role, your current job, that you've shared that it didn't feel quite like a win. Tell me more about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, getting the job. It wasn't necessarily me going, okay, now I get to go and be this fancy lady and get to go and eat at all these fancy places and these great clothes and be like, I'm the boss. Like for me, it meant now it's time to work. Now it's time to work.
Mm,
We get down to business and relearn a city that I'd lived in many years before. Figure out what's happening in the food scene. Figure out what are the voices that I need to amplify. What isn't being said in our coverage. So it's not. I felt like it was a win. Like it was a job that I wanted. Like I really wanted this job.
totally, totally.
When I saw the the posting for the job, I freaked out because I love Atlanta and always wanted to come back to Atlanta. Um, so for me, it was like, oh my God, if this would be an incredible full circle moment. And my boss told me that she thinks I was like one of the first people to apply to this job. Like literally, they put
Nice.
and then it was like, ding, there's my, because it's an incredible city. It really is. And
Mhm.
a lot of people don't really give it the respect that it deserves. Atlanta doesn't always show up in all of the festivals. Our chefs aren't always, top of the line in when it comes to food TV and when it comes to that kind of exposure. But we have some incredible talent here.
Mm,
And I'm excited to be able to showcase it and talk about it and also to build a community of people that write food. I'm not a super competitive person, so I love the fact that there's people that we're supposed to compete with, that are in the food world. That we break bread and we have drinks and we talk about, how we're gonna help push the movement forward when it comes to cuisine in this city. Because Um, it's time. I mean, I really can't wait for people to recognize that we have some of the most incredible Korean cuisine here. We have incredible West African cuisine here. New American cuisine is really showing up in a big way. There's a new restaurant here called Southern Fox, So Fox, that just blew my mind when I tried it the other night. It really felt like I was in California in Napa Valley eating, so
That's fun.
yeah, it's just, I mean, incredible.
That's amazing. So what would you say to the woman that went to broadcasting school, knowing what you know now? If you were to go back and see her.
Don't quit. A lot of us, when we're fighting for our dream, it doesn't happen overnight. It's not the movies. you know, it
Yeah.
doesn't happen in a decade.
In a
like,
2 hour span. Yeah.
I think I was in my mid 20s when I went to broadcasting school, and I'm 51 now, so if you really want something to happen in your life, put in a lot of hard work, be determined, don't lose focus, and
Mhm.
because if you quit, you're never going to get it. You got to keep going.
That's right.
Always keep going.
Always keep going.
There's like a super Latina thing to say.
Yeah. I always think about I hear my mom say, "No quites el dedo del renglón." Like, as long as you keep the eye on the price, I guess in English it would be, just there's gonna be derailings, there's gonna be just bumps in the road, and the dream will always be there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the worst things that have happened in my life, which is what my memoir is about, the worst thing that could have ever happened, my marriage fell apart. I lost everything. I was facing homelessness with a 2-year old in LA. That ended up being the biggest gift I could have ever received. It didn't feel like it at the time at all, you know,
Yeah.
uh, but it ended up completely changing my life. And so sometimes we find ourselves in these moments that, you're crying in the bathroom or you're like, my God, like we've all been there. You're like, what am I doing? What's happening?
Yeah.
This is it. Like, I'm never going to make it. We all have these hopeless moments, but man, zoom out, zoom out.
Mhm.
Everything happens for a reason. And the things that break you down are the things that cause the most intense growth, but only if you keep going.
Indeed, indeed. And I think I saw an image the other day that said, "If your life was 24 hours, when you're 30 years old, it's only 7 AM." And so I often hear people I mean, you did a lot of things after 30. And so I think about I started the podcast when I was 30. And so oftentimes we're like, "Oh, like the dream that we've been sold is like by 30 you have everything put together." And it's many times not even the beginning.
No, I didn't even audition for MasterChef until I was 36.
Yeah.
I got this job when I turned 50. I was almost 51 when I got this job. This is my dream job. I got my book
Yeah.
when I was 48. Like, I think getting older is kind of a blessing in every culture.
Yeah.
We're blessed to be able to have an old, age behind us, years behind us. Not many people get to do that.
Mhm.
And these for sure are the most productive years of my life. I spent a lot of time in the 90s just fussing around and going to concerts. So
Which is we all need that, having
you
fun.
do.
It's awesome. Monty, this was awesome. Tell us all the places and spaces where people can find you, where we can get the book, whatever you want to share, all the links.
You can get Spanglish at bookshop.org or your favorite bookstore, online, in real life. I've got a link for it in all of my bios on social media. I am at the Monti Carlo on all of the things.
Amazing. What's next for you? What are you looking forward to after the list?
Actually, I'm working on a trilogy.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
fun.
I'm working on a romance trilogy.
That's different.
Yeah, it's based in the food world, and you can churn and burn romance novels a lot faster than you can a cookbook. This took many years and many dollars. you know, um,
I'm sure.
this is very expensive. So with romance novels, you can like churn and burn. So I'm excited to have a little interest on my trilogy, and who knows, maybe the next time we talk, it'll be ready to go.
How fun. Please let us know. We'll be here. Looking forward. Especially a trilogy based on food. Done.
It's based on my life, so
Ooh.
it's based on real events, um, but it's just a talk about it, where you don't have to spend 10 years in a legal department.
Right. Yes. You fictionalize things.
Yeah, let's go.
For sure. How fun. That's so exciting. Please let us know. We'll be here. Totally.
Thank you.
I have to ask you just some quick rapid fires about food because why not?
Mhm.
So, do you drink coffee?
I drink coffee every morning at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I drink it all the way till it's time for bed. I drink it all day long. I started
Oh,
drinking.
you're an all-day coffee drinker.
Yeah, I mean, I started drinking coffee when I was 3. Like,
I mean,
there's
me
no
too, but
doctor.
my nervous system was just like, not after 1 p.m.
Oh my God, there's no way. Like, I literally have a
I know.
cup right here. I'm like,
Yeah. It makes me really sad, actually. I'm still drinking mine because it's 11 a.m. my time, and I'm in San Diego. But I know it's past what's Eastern? Those are one of those. It's 2 PM. Yeah, there's no way. No, I would stay up all night.
God, I have coffee after every dinner. Oh my God, I can't not even. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I bet. Which I was okay, I said this was rapid fires, ADHD. Hold on. Okay, let me stay focused. Okay, so hot or cold? Iced coffee or hot coffee?
Hot coffee. Yeah,
All the way. I'm a purist too.
yeah. I mean, iced coffee if the ice cubes are made of coffee,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If the ice coffee, I'm okay, but I don't want to be drinking a watered down coffee. Full?
Right. Because then it's tea.
No, hard pass.
Yeah. Or we say in Mexico, we say agua de calcetín, which is so gross.
Ah, it is gross.
Yeah. So no, we don't want that.
Accurate.
I don't. Yeah. Ooh. Sweet or savory?
Oh, I have a sweet tooth the size of, Texas. I love sweets so much. I was literally on a call this morning with my boss about planning recipes for the next 6 months, and I was like, we can do pies, we can do cookies,
They were
we
all
can do
sweet.
fish, we can do jams and banana puddings, and it's like let's add some savories in there. People like savory things.
Right.
And I'm like, oh yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, I'm not gonna put you on the spot because I know there's so many options, but if I was to come to Atlanta and I only had 24 hours, where would you take me for breakfast?
Where would I take you for breakfast in Atlanta? I wonder if the Silver Skillet is still open. There was a place called the Silver Skillet that I used to go to all the time. But I just feel like I'm just going to need to take you to Waffle House.
Okay.
That's like what everybody like. I love breakfast. There's like a place called Homegrown that's wonderful. There's a place called Bomb Biscuit that's wonderful. But I feel like most people really have you been to Waffle House?
Like the chain?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to college in the Midwest, so Waffle House was my place to go at the time.
If you've been, I wouldn't take you because it's like people when they go to Cali, they want to go to In and Out.
In
You know
and
what I
out,
mean?
yes.
So I would take you to Bomb Biscuit. They really have the most incredible. And then uh, there's a place called Bronx Bagel Buggy. I'm messing that all up, but they're wonderful. Their bagels are amazing.
And where are we going for lunch?
Kamayan. It's a Filipino place. That's incredible. I just had a blood stew there that just out of this
Mm,
world. Yeah,
so fun. And dinner? And I'm, like, leaving at 8 p.m., let's just say.
I'm really crushing hard on Southern Fox right now. I'm crushing really hard on
Yeah,
it. I just had, when you have like an epic dinner and you're like, oh my God, you know,
for
just
the
it's
books.
yeah, it's for the books. I also love Ikara, which is an Indian restaurant at Atlantic Station, and it absolutely beyond. Yeah, they have
Mm,
a crab there that is just out of this world.
how fun. And if you were to have 3 ingredients to make a dessert, what would you make?
I do a sweet plantain ice cream sundae.
Oh, love sweet plantain.
Yeah, so I would have vanilla because vanilla rocks, and I would make. Actually, you know what? I would make a dessert from my book. What am I saying? I'm going to show you
Mhm.
what I would have vanilla pudding uh, and galletitas de abuela, these Danish cookies,
Mm,
and I would make
yes.
it with sweet plantain. So vanilla pudding, the galletita de abuela, the Royal Danks cookies, and sweet plantain. That's like the best
Done.
three ingredient dessert. And it's so Spanglish.
Very Spanglish. Yeah, it's so perfect. Love that. Well, I'm so fed. I'm well fed after this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate hanging out with you today. And thank you for even knowing my name. That's really cool. Thank you.
Well, thank you for pushing through because it could have been easy to give up, you know?
It's always easy to give up.
It's always easy to give up, indeed.
The key is in proving people wrong.
Ooh, yes. Thank you, Monty, so much for coming to Café con Pam. This was awesome.
Thank you, Pam. It was great meeting you. Thank you so much. You have a great rest.
Likewise. I'm no Martha, she told me, but I'm very much me. And that is one of my favorite quotes from this episode. That sweater that I shared in the beginning that she told us the story of, she picked it up off the floor with blood on the shirt underneath it, the quickness of the shot, and when they looked at the picture and the decision was like, that's it. And the cool thing about it is that the polished version is not what was chosen. Everyone chose the real one. When Monty said she'll never be the most talented person in the room, but she'll be the one that outworks you, she said it like this is a flex. And this is what has gotten her everywhere and what has gotten a lot of us everywhere. But the photo that people loved is the one where the performance wasn't there. She wasn't necessarily outworking. When I think about it, it was the aftermath of, of the outworking when her finger was cut off. And it was just like, all right, let's just get this done. Because she was just standing there bleeding a little in yesterday's clothes. And I think that moment in the episode is the remedio that she can give us. Because the thing that you're loved for is almost never the thing you're outworking everyone to prove. Because we're not behind as we may feel like we are. We're usually cleaning up for people who already like the mess. This interview, I think, for me, Monty came to share that the truest, most real version of you, as I will respectfully counter her statement where she says, I'll outwork everyone. I don't doubt she works really hard. But I think she's also her truth and her personality and the real version of her and how honest she's always been is what's also gotten her where she is. And I think that's what I'm taking from talking to her. Because even during the interview, she was so real, and I think that's something to so look up to and respect because we're always socialized. We've been socialized to perform. And Monty is a great example for us to challenge that and be like, look, show up, be passionate about it, work it. It will work out. So if you want to understand where the instinct to overwork, to do the cleaning up, to do the performance and the covering and the editing of you before you walk into the room, I have a free quiz that can help you uncover some of those things. It's the Calladita Culture Quiz. It takes 3 minutes, 5 maybe, and it helps you name that which you've been carrying without a name. cafeconpam.com/quiz. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. It's always awesome for me to have the incredible privilege to have conversations with amazing people that have done amazing things in the world and bring them to you. So thank you for being here. Y como siempre, sigue brillando. Sabrosura,